Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,800 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of CUTT Live. My name is Felicia Holder, and I will be your host this evening, of course, joined by Ian Griffith, the head of our legal department. Now, as you may notice, I am not your regular host. Philip Edward Alexander usually is, but tonight I will be holding on his behalf to run the CUTT Live program. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is the Citizens Union Hour. It's the hour where we not only speak about and go into details about some of the activities and some of the challenges that we have taken on behalf of our membership, but we also speak a little bit more on Citizens Union, what we offer our members. A little bit later in the program, you're going to hear from some of our business affiliates, which if you're a Citizens Union member, you would know once you have a card, you can access well over 100 businesses and growing where you can get various discounts as a Citizens Union member. But the first half of the program is dedicated to our TSTT workers. We did a part 1 of this program 2 weeks ago. Today is part 2. It's going to be led by Ian, who is the head of our legal team. Of course, there will be input from me and additional guests coming on in this first half an hour. So I'll take this time to hand over to Ian. Ian, good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you. And to those of you that are regular viewers, just to reinforce what you already know, Citizens Union Trinidad and Tobago is not a labor union and it's not a political party. There will come a day when I won't have to repeat that. Nissan was once called Datsun, so I leave that for the executive to contemplate. We were planning, first let me apologize for not having a show last Thursday, but we decided to stand down and allow the public square to be filled with other union leaders addressing the 2% offer by the CPO, Chief Personal Officer. So last Thursday, this show was planned for today, and by happenstance, May 31st, TSTT retrenched 468 workers, and an injunction was filed that night. So as of the 1st of June, they should have been home. So those two things sort of dovetail by sheer coincidence. But the primary focus here is not so much on the 2022 workers who received notice of retrenchment. It's on the 2018 workers, which is reference to the first program we had called Part 1, entitled David versus Goliath. It is to raise their issues in the context of what is happening. So it is not that we are disparaging the 2022 employees who are technically employed. We'll see what happens on June 14th when they have the hearing at the industrial court. But it's to bring to the fore the issues of those who have accepted voluntary separation and or were retrenched in 2018. Just a little background in terms of show format. This show is, the guests we bring on speak contemporaneously. It is not scripted. The persons speak from their heart we do not have a program coordinator or editor like Legacy Media. And a good example of that is one of the guests that we were planning to have tonight last minute was unable due to personal reasons, and we had to get another guest to come on the show. So Felicia has never seen or spoken to this person. I have spoken to him very briefly, and that probably goes to explain the name CUTT Live. It is really a live show, unformatted, unscripted. I guess if you were on the Morning Brew, which is one of the probably the coolest cup of coffees in the country at the moment, one would have to interview persons through a particular prism or narrative based on your employer, your program director, or your editor, or the person of whose organization or entity you may be part of. And I want to emphasize that because it's really a live show. Some of the things I'll be hearing tonight, along with you all who are listening and Felicia, we'll be hearing them for the first time, including myself. So one may say there's a risk in having a format like that. It could go off the rails. But on the other hand, I think it's a more genuine type of conversation that you would have in a format like this. And if I could just digress for a minute, it's something that is perplexing me. CNC3, Newsday, Guardian, Express are referred to as mainstream media. And I think we have adopted the language from the US. But these organizations have been around since a long, long time, when Indiana Jones had a pet T-Rex. I think we are more mainstream media. We are live, we're on Rumble, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we appear on TikTok. And I mean, I don't want to parch the word, but that seems more mainstream than something that is what I would call legacy. So I think this program is mainstream, and I think legacy is more appropriate name for the established type media houses that are aging well. Having said that, we have three guests on tonight that are going to speak to their issues. And as I said, I'll be hearing it for the first time. I know generally it has to do with TSTT and retrenchment in 2018. They're going to bring a lot of issues to the fore. We're going to try and get 3 takes on it, preferably. And if there's time, we may have 1 or 2 questions. I would like to start with, well, we have 2 women and 1 gentleman. So I would like to start with Lauren Burnett. And before she comes on, a little background. My understanding from the brief conversation we had is that she took voluntary separation package. I may be correct. I'm correct, right? She's nodding. With the monies that she would have gotten at the time in 2018, predicated on the 2000 salary at the time, she acquired a parcel of land, and I believe most of her family and a few very close friends, I hope they're still her close friends, told her she purchased a parcel of land behind God's back. Well, I think it's a good place to have a parcel of land right in front of the devil. But in all yes, what she was really attempting to do was to contribute to the GDP of the country, demonstrate as an entrepreneur that she wanted to add something to the food basket. And again, that took place a while ago. And when we look at what is happening in Ukraine and the food supply chains, increasing prices, you can see she had foresight to engage in agriculture / farming / entrepreneur as a woman with her investment that she earned at the time. With that little intro, I'm going to let her speak to how the situation at TSTT and her union has affected her in terms of her dreams, her drive, and ambition. Lauren, over to you.
Hi, good night, everyone. Okay,
Hi,
so
Lauren.
first, we'd start off with I was one of those that left voluntarily, right? Because I wanted to pursue my dreams, as Mr. Griffith stated. I left at the end of 2018. And I want the viewers to understand that 2019, the pandemic hit, right? So whatever monies I was paid We have 2019, 20, 21, and we into the fourth year, which is 2022. Those monies, and especially as what I saw on TV6 today, that inflated figure that they posted up in the media is inflated because that is not the net what I was sent home with. Not even close to that. Right? So whatever monies that I had reserved, and I'm calling them reserved, that was reserved for my dream. Right? It had to be used up. All resources were used up over those 4 years. Nobody worked. I mean, you went from leaving a great establishment. I was proud to work TSTT. I used to call them my family, and I left there in high hopes you in my future. And bam, pandemic hit. And following that, you have 3 years of nothing moving in this country. I'm talking about produce because all restaurants were closed, people couldn't go anywhere. I mean, we know the whole rundown of the pandemic already, right? So I can't call WASA or TNTech and all the responsibilities at the end of the month and tell them I could pay my bills next 5 years. The company owes me money and I expect it to be paid. And I would like to be paid the money that is owed to me, right? I want to touch on one thing here. It's not only my issues I need to share with you guys. We have pensioners who are on they are on $800 a month pension from the telco plan, right? We have people who have children who losing their homes, who are disabled and have not been paid workman's compensation, right? We have a lot of issues here. People losing their mind from since March 12th of this month, this year here, March the 12th till today. We have 12 workers that are dead, ex-workers. I can't even begin to explain the amount of deaths we had over this pandemic period of ex-employees. I don't know what this company is waiting on. We never agreed to a 5-year plan, which is what they want to roll out with us. We never agreed to that, and it is not in principle either. It's not in principle, and it's not an act in good faith. I find it very disgusting. You owe me money. You owe the ex-workers money. And yet still these workers, I mean, I'm sorry for their plight, the ones that are leaving, right, this month. I'm really empathetic towards them. But they are going to be paid off, and they are still owing us. And we left since almost 4 years ago. How is that fair? That is unfair.
Lauren, I want to ask a question. What is the reason that TSTT is giving for dragging out these payments across such a long period?
Well, one of which I remember when the union tried to represent us, because they did try, they did try, and management told them that they were not able to bargain for workers that are now not in the company anymore. So we were left in the cold. We were left in the cold, and we have that documentation, by the way. It's documented. We have the letters from management that stated as such. The union put this in court. I believe it went to the industrial court. The case is coming up in July. So you have workers that have not worked for 4 years. The monies that were paid are eaten up. So where do we go from here? I am not begging. I am not begging for something that is not just, I am begging for my just due, because my services were rendered and I expect to be paid for it.
As you should, as you definitely should. Ian, she is one of the new persons who came on board, or she has been with us from the start trying to get our assistance?
No, she's the person I referred to at the intro that none of us knows about. She's a last-minute guest.
Okay. All right. I'm interested in hearing from the other guests. Jason?
Hi, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank the management of CUTT, the leadership of CUTT, I should say, for having us on this evening. And I want to kind of dovetail on what Lauren had said, because myself as an entrepreneur started off this race back in 2018 to really make a statement in terms of where I was headed in terms of my business, in terms of my involvement in Trinidad and Tobago, giving back to my country, because I gave back to to this company as part of a building of a network for a country that should have been well far advanced, developed in technology. And I want to just kind of add to what Lauren had said in terms of agriculture, because part of what, in terms of my business and that money that I needed to invest in this business, would have been part of partnerships for some form of climate action in the world. We, as a small nation, growing nation, really have tremendous people here, people blessed with gifts, just as Lauren is, as a woman, and a woman in agriculture, a woman in technology is a strong country, because women become the foundation and the basis of feeding people, right? And what Lauren was involved in, and what I was going to be involved in terms of is helping our country, especially now, post-pandemic, what we have to achieve in getting what is due to us from TSTT. I just wanted to say, and I want to make it quite clear, that I want to make a clarion call to all the retrenched workers, all the workers who left with VSEP, all the retired workers who are looking for the money still, to get involved in agri-tech, which is an $11 trillion industry. We had to make a really conscious decision in terms of where we wanted to go before this pandemic hit, and where we are today in terms of what we had lost, in terms of the lives that were lost, in terms of the people that really wanted to get the money to do important things with their families. We had our hands, and in terms of us bringing people together to beat a level versus a machinery that would have been impacting our country, that put people out of jobs presently. A lot of what's taking place now have put a lot of people out of jobs, and people need to work here in Trinidad and Tobago. There must be a synergy between us, the farmers, the people in the supply chain, and the food industry, to really make a big impact. And we were really affected by what TSTT did to us. A lot of our hopes and dreams were shattered. And I could delve deeper into it as the program goes on, right? Because I want to leave room for the other guests to at least, share in terms of how they feel and how it would have affected them also.
All right. The third guest, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Hi, I am Rhonda Ramsey.
Hi, Rhonda.
Rhonda. Hi. So,
And you are,
I'm one of the affected retrenched employees, ex-employees of 2018. And my reason for coming to share here tonight is some of the issues that I have, along with many of my fellow colleagues, about the way that we were represented by the union. All right. Now, we are at a point right now where we have some current staff who were retrenched a couple of days ago. And just like my former colleague said, they are going to be settled. But I feel that we have not that they have not act, they owe a duty of fair representation to us. And that would be to take all reasonable steps that are in the best interest of both the current staff at the bargaining unit and also the retrenched workers. Now, I will backtrack to 2018 when we were retrenched. And I will make a comparative study of the difference in how we were treated as compared to the now. Now, an injunction was filed and granted for the retrenched workers, the current staff. Back in 2018, when the wind was knocked out of us when we went to work and we realized that we no longer had a job, we had an emergency meeting up at the Union Hall. And several of us brought this to the table that an injunction should have been filed on our behalf. And nothing was done in that respect. Fast forward to now, some of the issues that I have communicated with my former colleagues is one, the issue of the retroactive payments that are outstanding, the recalculation of severance, and the fact that this is now going to be paid to us over a 5-year period, which is something that we should have been consulted with by the union. There should have been a meeting. We should have been asked specific questions as to whether we would like these payments over this period or whether we are willing to opt for a reasonable route, assuming that we'd have agreed on something like a 2-year payment plan, because we're looking at the state of the economy, right? So in everything, there's room for a dispute resolution, that we would come together and come to some kind of solution. There was nothing. It was like a closed door. And also, one of my major concerns is the way that, we were handled throughout this. Many times we had to be knocking on the doors of the union to find out what is the status in court, arguments and evidence filed. Can you give us any more information? And it's only long after we will get some kind of feedback. I'm not saying that they're not doing their job, but I'm saying that we were not properly represented. And we still are not properly represented, and I'm not ashamed to say that. One of the issues that I had is that we, as ex-employees, we had a health plan. And I felt that one of the proposals that the union should have brought to the table was that we had some kind of health plan to continue on with. To my knowledge, Petrotrin has one, the ex-Petrotrin employees. We do not have any health plan anymore. So there are people who have left the company and they have exorbitant surgeries that cannot be provided for the public hospitals, and they're simply dwindling away because they cannot pay for surgery anymore. They don't have a health plan. Among the other issues, one issue that I take, I must make special mention of, is that when we were leaving the company in our retrenchment letter, we were told in the letter that we would be settled before a specific date, anything that was owed to us. But obviously negotiations did not take place. It did not finalize until last year. But I'm saying that, seeing that it was finalized, we should have been given preference based on that retrenchment letter, that everything would be paid to us and let us get some kind of closure. All right? Now, I'm referring to a letter here. I'm not going to name anybody, but I'm referring to one of the letters that was sent to the bargaining unit, where it stated that all outstanding amounts for the bargaining periods 2014 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019 would be paid in 5 equal annual installments beginning in September 15, 2022 and ending on September 15, 2026. For me, that is unreasonable, it is outrageous, it is outlandish, it is unconscionable, and it is absolutely unfair to all of us to have to accept that rubbish. All right? Factors that the company and the union in particular should have brought this to the table to the company because they are fully aware of it, is the fact that we are still in a pandemic. And rightfully said by my former colleagues on the chat, I am also a business owner. When 2018 hit and retrenchment was enforced, I took my investment and I bought a supermarket, a smaller size supermarket. And when the pandemic came up, popping up around me, exchange stiff, and I had to find a way to save the company and scale up into a smaller establishment on Frederick Street. Now, I was fortunate to be open during the pandemic. It was an essential business, but it was only 3 businesses open on Frederick Street during the lockdown. So like my colleagues on the chat here, no revenue was really coming in. You're basically surviving on the capital that you invested. All right? And fast forward to now, we are all in the same predicament. Whether we went into business, there's nothing coming in for many of us. Many of us did not get jobs because who's hiring you in a pandemic? If you refuse to be vaccinated, who's going to hire you? Then we haven't looked at the issues of cost of living that has gone up, fuel costs, grocery prices, people on the verge of bankruptcy, losing their homes. We haven't taken that into consideration. And I think these are the issues that the union should have brought to the table on our behalf. And they should have had more consultation with us. Technically, we are out the door because we no longer pay union dues. So whatever's in court, yes, it's there. But I don't think that we are really on the front burner of this at this time. It is very difficult to stay afloat for many of us. Many of us who were retrenched came in at 19 years old, like myself. And we still have young children. I'm a single parent, right? So I am saying on my behalf and the rest of my colleagues that we are saying no. We're saying no to the union and no to the company, that we do not accept this 5-year payment. And that I am hoping that the union is listening as well. We are willing to engage in further dialogue with you. We want a town hall meeting and we want our issues to be ironed out. And that's basically my take. And well, one thing I forgot is, just as my colleague said, there are lots of there are people who died, and we are not aware of what is the position for their families if they did not leave a beneficiary for their estate, or they didn't do a will. What is the position with them? And I think these things should have been addressed by the union.
Definitely. And before I turn over to Ian, I do have a question for all of you. Seeing as your union, which is the Communication Workers Union, seeing as they have all but abandoned you, what did you hope? And when you turned to the Citizens Union, what were you hoping that we could do on your behalf?
Well, for one, I am hoping that we can get more people on board. I think we need to come out of that shell that we are hiding in. I think we need to realize that now we may have to resort to an independent council to address this, because it is going on too long. People need to be fearless, because this is our money. This is what we work very hard for. It is not something that somebody should be playing with, because we have not considered also inflation. We have not considered that in the event that TSTT becomes insolvent, what is our predicament? What happens with us in the next couple of years? What happens with our money? We all know in corporate law that with insolvency, you must pay off all who you owe first. So if you remain, let's say, with a little percentage, like what happened with Air Caribbean, what happens to us with the rest of our monies? So these are the factors we have to take into consideration, and we need to come out in our numbers and really plead our cause. So that's my
Thanks,
take.
Rhonda.
You're welcome.
Ian, as the person who's been communicating with these retrenched workers, what is your take on all that's happening, and what has your involvement been thus far in terms of getting them that representation that they are so clearly lacking?
Well, the purpose of this program actually was to bring it to the public's awareness of the plight. And these three former TSTT employees here represent approximately 503 other workers. Not all, but a majority of them. Some of them, and I say this with as much respect to them, I don't know them personally, I just know based on the statistical numbers, some of them rather die on their knees than stand on their feet. So they cannot be helped. In terms of those that have approached us, which these three represent, which I presume is a majority, apart from those who are, to paraphrase on Mr. Robert Sapga expression in the public space, have shuffled off this mortal coil, which was alluded to by Rhonda, which we can probably touch upon a little bit, is that they should make themselves available to be part of a larger group to get redress. Because the three persons on this panel here probably can get assistance very discreetly, and they can leave, and I'm just using the number, the 500 to languish, minus those who have died, minus those who prefer to die on their knees than stand on their feet. In terms of what we can do for them, it's not going to be telegraphed on this program, that's for certain. That will be foolhardy. Just to back up with respect to Jason, just for the listening audience, that's Mr. Jason Cowie, for proper introduction. And Mr. Jason Cowie has a lot of skill sets below his belt, which cannot be enunciated in this program. It will take maybe 2 hours. But what I would say, if given the opportunity and an alliance with CUTT, you notice how I have to pause not to say the word union, with CUTT, many of the former TSTT workers can benefit, especially in the technological sphere, right? So we are at this moment throwing out an introduction to Mr. Jason Cowie to be a business associate. I couldn't miss that opportunity, Jason. All right? But we're not talking about that at the moment. To just pivot back to Rhonda and to probably give her a sort of a more complete introduction for the listening audience. Rhonda Barrett, it was, as you would know, took VSEP, like, if I'm correct, and she'd indicated you what she did with her.
No, I was retrenched.
She was retrenched, my apologies. And she indicated to you what she did, again, as a single mother. Let me speak American, a person of color, invested to have a life of her own. And she alluded to the impact of COVID. And most importantly, the thread that runs through this tapestry is that these persons are owed money that they're entitled to based on 2 subsequent collective agreements that were negotiated by the company and the union, right? And those are for the periods 14 to 16 and 17 to 19. We want to make it politically clear. All they're asking for is for what they're entitled to. But back to Rhonda. Rhonda, having been retrenched, embarked on a course of action that I don't know how she did it, to pursue law, and she did her last exam on last Thursday, which in part contributes to the program not being aired, because we wanted to present her here. So what you have in this panel are not persons that are cap in hand academically, entrepreneurially. They want to get on with their lives and make a contribution to their own immediate families first and foremost, and the country on a much larger scale. So between law, agriculture, and technology, that is the representation of three persons in three segments of society. And when the comment is made that we cannot diversify the economy away from gas and oil, these three persons represent a complete opposite response to that statement. A comment was made about those who have passed away. Well, so we can just touch upon it a little bit. If the widow or widower did not have a will, how do they benefit from the entitlement of the deceased? That would then suggest letters of administration. That takes time and money. We are working on a current case right now since Christmas with a CUTT member, and we just made some progress today, notably by changing attorneys. So how is that addressed for those survivors? In terms of the current status of TSTT, and as I said at the opening, this is not a political program, but everything has politics in it: families, friends in school, classmates, business associates, etc. The way it's structured from a corporate perspective, those with the bigger caps in a liquidation get paid first. If there's anything left, those at the lower hanging fruit are then paid. The letter that Rhonda referred to, and based on her legal exposure, was very reticent to identify the author of the letter and to whom it was written. But it's a letter that's in the public space. It's all over the place. I have a copy of it. The then general manager, Jared Cooper, signed a letter. It was written to the union, Clyde Elder. At the top right-hand corner of the letter is the union stamp, and it looks like a signature on it. So that agreement that was received and stamped, or letter, I should say, correction, that was signed, was it agreed to? Were the employees aware of it? And if it takes us to a date and a year in 2026, that is onerous. And did the union knowingly agree on the 17th of November 2021, when the letter was dated, signed by Mr. Cooper, that they are going to accept that on behalf of the 503 former employees? Is that acting in good faith? Me personally, if the letter was sent to me, I would have returned it to sender and indicate we need to have a proposal much superior to that, and I would suggest a bullet payment, maximum 2 years. Now, that discussion would have been taking place in 2021 and should have been resolved by now. A key salient feature in terms of the question asked, what can CUTT do for these former employees? Keep this in mind. And while we may have a certain opinion of Mr. Elder, I'm sure he's a wonderful father, a great parent, and a nice husband, he cannot represent these people, because if you're not an employee, and you're not paying dues, you cannot have a representative bargaining unit representing you. You may not like what I just said, but it's a statement of fact. So the invocation of what the union can do for them was just answered rhetorically. In terms of the current situation, what is interesting in that situation is that the workers who are currently assigned to the breadline with a stay of execution till June 14th, we don't know what will happen at that point, may not be in any different situation from the 2018 workers. I am certain they are hoping and praying that they don't end up in the same situation like the 2018 workers. I presume, tactically, if I was in TSTT position, I would pay all of them off handsomely and then some, and separate the goat from the sheep. So the 2022 workers have no allegiance, alliance, or interest in the 2018 workers who are languishing without representation because they are no longer former employees. And that wasn't a giveaway, but that is exactly what is happening. So the three persons here who represent all those who are at home and have serious questions to ask with regard to the adjustment in the salary between the two subsequent collective bargaining periods, the recalculation of severance, they have some burning questions that they're asking with each passing hour now that the bell has been rung May 31st, 2022 at midnight for the current batch of employees. I would most likely, based on what I have said, have triggered Mr. Cowie into hyperactive mode to say a few things. I am going to give him the space and time to express himself.
Well, I want to express the sentiments of my Prime Minister. I don't like my money to sleep out. I want to be categorically clear that if my leader say that, I say the same thing. Because let me tell you something, at the end of the day, the way where we put TSTT, and this is back from the merger in 1991. When I came into the company in 1991, September the 16th, 1991, I would never forget that date because it's a significant date that has started in a company that should have been the top of the one of the top telecommunications companies in the Caribbean. But apparently they didn't have the foresight to see it reach to places in different islands of the Caribbean. But that is way behind us now. But we have to understand why looking at this 5-year plan, that they plan to pay the back pay and all these different things in terms of severance to all the workers who truly deserve it. In that, what is the position with cable and wireless and TSTT with that 51% owned by the government and the 49% shares owned by cable and wireless? What is going to happen when they're ready to fold this company and say, well, look, they're going to push Amplia? We have to understand strategically how the company does move. Now, I have been in many, many negotiations up on the 7th floor, discussions on the 7th floor of Textile House TSTT, because I was an executive board officer at the union at the time. And you just hear certain things and you just see certain things and you know certain things. When you see what happened with Petrotrin, when your neighbor house on fire, wet yours. And I want to tell this to the workers at TSTT presently who waiting to get the axe drop on them. And this is what I warned them back in 2014 when they offered that voluntary separation. And we got an opportunity to leave in 2018 because we stood up, we went to the High Court and we took this matter before the court based on a contract issue where we signed to leave the company. And the company come and they reneged and put us in this position. We had to be fighting in a legal system that is not squarely for the BOP, the bottom of the pyramid people in Trinidad and Tobago. And this is where we need to understand where people are today and where we need to be as a people. You know, people suffer with something in this country that a lot of people need to understand, that we suffer from PCSS, post-colonial stress syndrome. Post-colonial stress syndrome. Our minds have been beaten so mentally we can't even stand up for our own selves for the right thing. And I want to call, as I said before, not just, this is not about us as voluntary separated workers. This is about all workers across the board, because from Petrotrin to understand it, when they shut down Petrotrin, that was the end of that for them. And this is the same thing that is going to happen to TSTT. If they, once they fall, as you were saying, and I want to get a legal mind on this, like, I ain't no lawyer. So I like to look towards a legal luminary to explain to me, right, if it's right or wrong, where you could do something like this to me, drag me through the court system at Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I could sit back and say, well, look, I will take this coming and going. The lawyers get paid, the judges get paid, everybody get paid, but I still waiting on my money. And a little bit of money, I could have stayed invest. I could have invested this money. I could have been gaining interest on it, invested it in a business, do certain things on it, do certain things with it. But you know, God is working in a mysterious way. Sometimes I feel like this pandemic really bring us to understanding. No, if this pandemic can teach you a lesson, right? Post COVID, if it didn't teach you a lesson to come together to do what is right for your country now, then you're really lost. You're still suffering from PCSS. This is a life.
Indeed, Jason. And what you just said there, I think is the problem that we all face as Trinbagonians. And I think you, as well as the other retrenched workers, are realizing just how failed this system is, the country is. You just said that the lawyers get paid, the unions get their dues, the company directors still make their profits, but the workers, the ones who were the backbone of the company, the ones who pay in the legal fees, the ones who help build the company from the ground up, you are the ones suffering. And I only cutting you short because I see we have literally ran out of time and we still have two other persons to bring on in another segment as to what next. I know Ian wants to keep that very close to his chest. I agree, especially with what is happening right now with the current workers who are being retrenched. I noticed since we did this program, you're suddenly hearing a lot more about TSTT in the news. I do anticipate that this is going to create a run-on effect from the unions, the company itself. The fact that you have not yet had a town hall with the union, with the company, I mean, it explains why you came to the Citizens Union in the first place. The lack of representation that Rhonda and Lauren and you, Jason, have spoken about is the very reason why we as Trinbagonians feel stuck. There's nobody to turn to. The union that you're supposed to be representing you is non-existent. And the fact that they can turn their backs on you after all of those years of paying dues, it's why the Citizens Union exists, for persons who have experienced both public and private sector abuse. And while I am not personally involved in your case, my heart does go out to all of you. Y'all are not, I mean, look at the quality of people we have on the panel tonight. Jason, you're involved in technology, agriculture, we have a legal mind. Y'all should be in a better position, and the fact that you have to be groveling is unacceptable. So I'm sorry that we don't have much more time, but I do want to thank you for coming on today and sharing your experience with the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, especially the new retrenched workers, because we want to assume that they're going to be treated better. But when you guys were retrenched and when you took visa back in 2018, I think you all assumed that your separation was going to be much better than it is now. And the fact that it has dragged on for over 4 years and then they're saying 3 more years. The new retrenched workers, I hope you're paying attention, because we have no idea what could be your fate next. Ian, I don't know if you have anything to say in closing.
Yeah, I would like to read something into the record. And Satish, when I'm finished, if you can put it up on the screen so those looking at it subsequently can probably freeze frame it and read it. Okay. Liberty Global acquired Cable and Wireless in 2016. Liberty Latin America acquired Cable and Wireless in 2018. Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago owns 51% of TSTT, held in the National Enterprise Limited, referred to as NEL. Cable and Wireless owns 49% of TSTT. TSTT owns Flow. Cable and Wireless cannot appoint directors on the TSTT board because of conflict of interest with Flow. The Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago appoints all directors on TSTT. Government appointed a 5-member ministerial committee on TSTT recently. TSTT raised $476 million to fund the current retrenchment. And coming out of that subcommittee, the chair, Camille Regis, said the following: the matter of restructuring, including its shape, timing, and form, is solely for TSTT and not for the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. This was due to the legal structure of TSTT. The Government of Trinidad and Tobago does not have direct legal control of TSTT. Ingrid Lashley is the chairman of NEL, referred to above, and sits on the TSTT board. Lisa Agard is the CEO of TSTT and Amplia. May 31st, 2022, 468 workers were retrenched. May 31st, 2022, CW Union obtains an injunction against TSTT in the industrial court to stay the execution of the retrenched letters. TSTT has a $5 billion in asset. TSTT has allocated $427 million of the $476 million bond for the 222 retrenched workers, leaving a surplus of $49 million, which should be adequate to address the 2018 retrenched and VSAP workers. That informs you of the very complex, intricate board company structure. So I am going to allege or speculate who will own TSTT. Is it Michael Leachin? Is it Huawei? Or will it be absorbed in Amplia, which at this point was created like an Amazon, ununionized? And with that, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you, Jason, Lauren, and Rhonda. I look forward to seeing where this fight goes.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we are at the end of the legal segment of the Citizens Union, and just a brief reiteration, this is what and one of the main purposes that the Citizens Union was formed, for people to turn to, organizations to turn to when they feel they have nobody on their side. A big company like TSTT with a very well recognized union like the Communications Workers Union, yet they are unrepresented, and they have turned to the Citizens Union as their last straw, their last hope. At this time, we're going to go right into the business affiliate program. I would like to welcome, I believe he's in the waiting room, Kasim Khan. He's the owner of the Transportation and Excavation Works. Good evening and welcome to the program, Kasim.
Good evening.
All right.
Good evening,
So,
all.
good evening. You are one of our new business affiliates. I believe you would have joined this year.
Yes, I've joined this
All right.
year.
Great. So tell our members a little bit about your company and what you're offering to Citizens Union card holding members.
Okay, well, we are into the business of transport and excavation. We supply aggregates. We also do excavation work. We sell flagstone, for like pool area, flagstone, netted stone, rectangular stone. We deal in all of the stones that you can think about. Everything is natural stone, as you can see there. We also do aggregate, but first we could talk about the stone for like by pool area and so on, for your yard and so on. Those are, yes, those are just some of the flagstones that we supply at reasonable price. The prices start at $30 upwards.
And the trucks that we're seeing, this is part of the transportation side of the business?
Yes, those do the delivery for aggregates and so on. And
Okay.
we have aggregates of all different sizes and different application. We start from sharp sand, plastering sand, oil sand, you name it, an aggregate for construction. Build road buildings too. Crusher run.
All right.
We do construction of the area, land preparation,
Very
and
nice.
so forth.
So what are you offering to Citizens Union members? Because as part of the business affiliate program, CUTT members get a special deal, right?
Yes, yes. We can do a 5% discount for all members of the Citizen Union CUTT.
And this applies to the transportation and the what do you call it? Stonework.
Yeah, it's natural stone, flagstone. We have them in nets that is paired, as you can see, in 3 square foot. And that goes for like about $30 per square foot.
So CUTT members would get it for about a challenge in my mathematics here, but 5% off of that $30 per square foot.
Only
All right.
on non-discounted items.
On non-discounted items.
Yeah.
Okay. And is this until the end of the year? Is that you run a monthly
No. Long as
promotion?
as
Okay, as
you
long
are,
as you're a member and you're a business
you will get
affiliate,
that.
CUTT members get that 5% off deal.
Yeah.
And where are you
Yeah.
based?
At corner Joyce and Rupsing Road, Karapichaima. That's in closer to
Okay.
Shagwana side. You can find us on Facebook,
But you service all of Trinidad and Tobago?
wherever. Tobago too.
I was just about to say sorry, not Tobago, but you just
Yeah.
answered my question and said yes, you
Yes.
do Tobago as well. So
Yes.
Citizens Union members, whether you're in Trinidad or Tobago, you can contact Kasim Khan of the Transportation and Excavation Works and get your 5% off. Kasim, I don't know if you want to give them some information and contact number, how they can reach you.
Yes, they can find us on Facebook, and also they can phone us at 678-8755 or 225-6695.
Sound like you're practicing saying that. You rattle that off. All right. Anything else you'd like to say to the viewers before closing?
Well, they can, as long as you're doing upgrading on your house and you need aggregate, or you're building a pool and you need stone work, give us a call. We'll be happy to help.
Thank you for that, Kasim. Kasim is a walking advertisement for his business. We appreciate you as a business affiliate, and for all of our Citizens Union members who are doing work, it's 678-8755, or what's the next number?
225-6695.
Lovely. Thank you, Kasim, for joining us in the program, and we look forward to working with you as a business affiliate.
Thank you. All the time here for you all.
Nice. All right. So we have our second business affiliate who's joining us. It's Dayanand. He is from Paradise Ponds and Landscaping. Good evening, Dayanand. I believe he is on. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, at Paradise Ponds and Landscaping, we started off doing fish ponds and waterfalls, artificial rock waterfalls for people. Eventually, it migrated, it went into ponds, pools surrounding general landscape, whole complete backyard landscaping. That's the type of work we do. So
Very nice. So where are you based?
we are based in Pinal. It's St. Patrick area, Pinal, right?
Mhm.
San Francisco. That's what we are based,
Okay.
right?
And how long
Yeah.
have you been a CUTT business affiliate?
We have joined recently. I've been following the CUTT system for a while now, and then I decided to join because I saw a lot of things that could be done through your
Mhm.
organization. So I decided, you know what, it's time. Let me join. So I joined. Yeah.
Very nice. And
Mhm.
what is the deal that you're offering to Citizens Union members?
Okay, well, I was looking at the last guy there. He was offering the stonework and for pools, I think. So you see, it's one good thing I actually joined with CUT. Now I can get my 5% there, and I could actually give my customer 10% on the job around the pool. So we actually do the work. He supplied the stone,
Oh,
so we could come
right.
together eventually, right? And we could work in
Proof
hand in
of
hand.
concept in one program.
Exactly, brilliant.
I love
Yeah,
that. And I was actually when Sati sent me the list that we had tonight, I said these two persons, I wonder if they're into similar business. And it seems like he's the supplier and then you actually do the work itself. So that is excellent. And for
exactly.
those who are wondering, yes, as a business affiliate, not only do you offer deals to other members, but you get to benefit as a business owner and personally as well because your business affiliate card is also your CUTT membership card. So you can, so Diana could go to Kasim and get his 5% off or send his members to get their 5% off and
Exactly.
then offer his 10% off his service. I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love
Perfect. Yeah. So I offer 10% off my service. What we do, we have a site visit. We look at the space that is provided for us to do our landscaping work, and we work with the customer and the customer ideas. We combine with ours. We also have a software that I can do actual designs on it and show the customer what the finish or the end product looks like. So
it.
no
Okay.
guesswork, and that is free. That is free. So you don't have to pay
Oh,
for that service, right?
very
So
nice.
yeah, so you can actually see what the landscape going to look like, when it is done. So that's what we
So
offer.
I think we pair the two most perfect business affiliates to come back to
Exactly,
back.
back to back.
If you're doing any renovations or remodeling or upgrading your home, definitely reach out to Diana. And what's the name of the company? Paradise Ponds and Landscaping.
Exactly, yeah, it is.
All right. Can we find you
Mhm.
on Facebook?
Yes, it is on Facebook. Paradise Ponds and Landscape is on Facebook, and the number is 774-4543. So that's my personal,
77445.
exactly, and that's my personal number, right? So you
This is
can
your
get
personal
direct
number you're
contact with
giving
me.
out.
Yeah, yeah. So you can call me directly, and I will, liaison with you. I will have a site visit. We will decide, and we will go on from there. That's how we
All
work.
right.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say in closing before we wrap up?
Well, because of the situation with the pandemic for the past 2 years now, we had to stop work for a while, and after that, a lot of our work was actually referrals. So people who we do work for, they refer us to somebody else, and that's how we continue working. Right. First time I'm taking the opportunity to come to you all to advertise, with the affiliate program. So it's something new for me. So I never had done it before, and this is something new. So I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you being a part of this program. For
Mhm.
those who don't know, the CUTT Business Affiliate actually started in the middle of the pandemic. We started this during the second lockdown, the bigger lockdown that we had last year, which started just at the end of, I believe it was March, April.
March, April,
And
yeah,
we
around there.
reached out to a couple hundred businesses because we understood that during that time, many people were suffering, many people had their businesses closed, word of mouth was the new it thing because people weren't advertising. You can afford to advertise anymore. And if you look at our list of business affiliates, it's honest, hardworking, medium, small size businesses like Diana and Kasim, because those are the businesses who don't have the access to multi-millions of dollars that the other bigger businesses have. So we wanted to create a very strong internal network so that our members could benefit from discounts as well as our business affiliates can benefit from that additional advertising and marketing and the strength of the membership shopping and patronizing their businesses. So I'm glad that you mentioned the pandemic because this is exactly why our business affiliate program was built and created. I'm seeing a lot of people now trying to copy what we're doing, but I don't think they have the essence of it, which is keeping the family aspect, keeping the network aspect, and keeping the more or less looking out for each other aspect. I'm very glad that we were now able to link Paradise Funds and transportation and excavation so that our members could even further benefit.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. All right, then, and thank you so very much for coming on. For those who would like to contact him for his services, again, the number is 774-4543. You get 10% off. And if you're looking for the stones to do the work that Diana can do, you're reaching out to Kasim Khan on 678-8755. Thank you so much, Diana, and have a great evening.
Thank
And I
you.
look forward to working with you.
Yeah.
All right, folks, so we have just arrived at the end of the program, and I do want to highlight again our business affiliates program and the purpose that it was created for. I just mentioned it that we started this during the pandemic, and it's something that I want to see grow even bigger. We are targeting small to medium-sized businesses. We understand the challenges that these businesses face. We understand that you don't have millions of dollars to advertise. With the Citizens Union, you get for just $565 for the year, you get the opportunity to come on this and other programs and promote your business. You get advertised on our website, which we have just remodeled and are getting ready to relaunch. It's a very interactive, user-friendly website that allows you to see all of the businesses by area, by location, by business type. You get very, very great discounted advertising rates. I was explaining to David Welch, who's the head of the PEP Youth, that I was explaining our rates to him, and he said, wow, those can't be beaten. And it's true, our rates are very reasonable because we understand that in these times, one of the things that you cut first is your advertising and communication. And we want to be able to help you small businesses grow. You get the benefit of business to business discounts. We just saw proof of concept on the show here where we were able to link two separate contractors but who fell within the same service area, one providing the actual materials, one providing the service. They were able to link with each other and benefit from that business to business discount. And of course, that is only going to benefit you as the member even more as these discounts trickle down to you as a Citizens Union member. So if you'd like to be a part of the business affiliate program, the number is, you can call me, 769-4590. We will be happy to sign you up. So hi, De Silva, she is the head of the business affiliate program. I don't have her number in front of me, so I'm giving you mine. So I will pass you on to her if you reach out. Sahai will get you signed up and enrolled. We are, as a business affiliate, you do get a membership card that entitles you to be a business affiliate as well as a Citizens Union member. It cannot get better than that. So if you'd like to join your business affiliates, reach out to us. If you'd like to advertise on this and other programs, you can also reach out to me on 769-4590. We'll be happy to work with you and happy to bring you on board. I would like to say thank you to Satish Ramsaran and Ian Griffith and Philip Alexander for giving me this opportunity to host this program by myself. I actually think I'm the right person to host the show because as the COO of the Citizens Union, I get to see in real time the work that goes into making this organization function. The fact that the TSTT workers and other very big and recognized organizations are coming to us. An organization that was only founded less than 2 years ago can attest to the great work that myself and Ian and Sean and Philip and Satish and Sahai and all of the others who are on board are doing. And if it's one thing the Citizens Union represents, is a proof of concept. We started the Citizens Union after the 2020 election because we wanted to create an organization that can do for our members what we would like to do for Trinidad and Tobago. We can't and we don't have the resources to fix all of TNT, but we can make life better for the members of the Citizens Union, which is why we encourage everybody to come on board. We have the business affiliate program. We have the housing program, which is something that's going to come on stream very soon. We have agricultural programs, which we are beginning soon. So many great benefits to being a Citizens Union member. Your card gets you discounts at several businesses. And most importantly, we are that place to turn to when you feel like you have nobody else to turn to. And some of the issues, one of the topics we're going to be touching on next week, and I'm really looking forward to that show, issues on the port. Again, big organizations coming to us because they feel they have nobody else to turn to. If anything, Citizens Union is a proof of concept that representation, real representation is possible and that things can be fixed. So I invite you to get on board the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. If you are not yet a member, you can reach out to the team on 486-2888. And of course, if you can't get them, reach out to me, Felicia, 769-4590. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening, and I look forward to hosting again next week, Thursday at 8 p.m., which is a new time for the CUTT live show. Take care and bye.